Alright, let's continue from where we left off. Um, in the previous lecture, we looked at form, right? We created some few form controls, okay, which also happen to be the form elements. Okay, we looked at label, which we say that it's more like a description of an input field. Alright, we looked at an input, and then we looked at select. That gives us the opportunity to have multiple options, then we choose one from, like a drop down. Not like, but it is a drop down, and we looked at it in the browser. Then we spoke about text area, where here users are given the opportunity to write multiple line statements or sentences. So here we can give it a label like uh, give us your opinion, right? Okay, something like this. So the person know that, oh, they can write more. Right? You can make this maybe 3 lines is okay. If you give people opportunity to say a lot of things, they tend uh, to sound personal. Okay. Um, so I mentioned that we'll look at field set and legend. All right. And you saw me use field set and legend in the first preview. Okay, how can we use that? Well, inside the form, we'll have a field set. Okay, and this is supposed to be wrapped around all the content in the form. Okay, all the content in the form. So we know that this group of um, form controls belong to this particular excuse me, let me just check alignment here, uh, or indentation. Okay, so field set. Okay, let's refresh and see what we have in our browser. uh, we have that line right around our work, and you have to realize that I'm not focusing on styling or excuse me, styling or how to arrange these things beneath each other, because the focus is to look at the form controls. Okay, so when we come here, um, we can put a legend that will now bring a space in here, somewhere here. Okay, so that we can see something. So for example, uh, we can see um, fill the form below, right? Fill the form below. Okay, let's refresh and come. We realize that the legend has now appeared here. Okay, in the field set. Fill the form below. It's more like an instruction. Well, okay, so that is a field set. How you can use it is simple. You just wrap it around all the contents, and then for the instruction of the form, you can use a legend. Okay, fill the form below. Now let's go ahead and add more um, form controls. Okay, and now we are going to look at the input types. Okay, input types, we'll talk about text. All right, so input type, I'm sorry, input. Okay, type is text. uh, and then I spoke about the name attribute, the id attribute, sorry, the id attribute, the disabled if you want, if you wanted to. There is another attribute called placeholder. uh, and this placeholder attribute, what it does is that it displays some default text in the um, text field, okay, for the user. But the moment the user clicks on it, that text disappears. It's more like a guideline. Okay, so here I can say enter your first name here. Okay, enter your first name here. All right, and you see that it appears here, says enter your first name. Then when I start typing, that text disappears. You probably have seen it on multiple forms. Um, that is how it is done. It is the placeholder attribute that is used to do that. The next one that we can talk about is the type of input would be email, right? Email, and also have name. You can specify ID, also placeholder. You can say enter a valid email. Okay, enter a valid email, or you can say maybe someone at example.com, just so the, the person filling the form knows that, oh, they are supposed to provide their email here. All right. These things are getting out of focus, so what we can do is bring a couple of line breaks. All right. Okay, so here we bring a line break so that they not fall under each other. Okay, let's come here. So we have these guys here. We can continue doing our stuff. All right, yeah. Okay. So the next input type that we need to look at is password. All right? And again, we just set the type to password. Okay. All the other things follow. So you have password, email, test. There is also date, right? So you can change this to date. Sorry. Now, let's say this is password. Okay, type password. So we have an input here. The moment I start typing, it becomes dot dot dot. So nobody actually sees what is being typed. All right. Okay, so let me bring line break here. Another line break. Um, excuse me. Uh, so let's look at the file input. Okay, the file input. Okay, so that one is file, and this will now give us the no. We are not saving anything. This will now give us the opportunity to choose a file. Okay, so we have the file explorer, then we can select from. We are not going to choose any file. It's just an example. Okay, so you don't have the browser does every hard work for you. All you have to do is to tell it the type of input you want it to create for you. All right, and, it does all the magic, if you will, in the background. Okay. Um. So these are the basics that you are most likely going to use. All right. Let me also talk about the dates. Okay, before I forget. So let me have a line break here to bring the date to the bottom. All right. So we have the date here. We can click on it. We have the calendar, and then we select the date. Okay. This is also, you don't have to waste a lot of time designing this. Browser knows how to just specify that you want it to display a date input for you. Okay, and then that will be done in no time. Okay. Um. So these things are kind of fun, right? They are kind of fun to work with. Um, Now let's look at more fun stuff like creating. So let's say radio. Okay, radio button. It's an input type. Okay, but we specify the type to be radio. Input. Okay, the type is radio. All right, and here we need to specify a name. Okay, name is equal to maybe, let's say, gender. All right, and so let's first have a label. Okay, this is male. Okay, so we copy all this and paste again. and then this is for uh, female, right? This is for female. If you notice, you realize that both the male radio button and the female radio button have the same name. Yeah, indeed, they do, and that is a requirement for the radio buttons to behave in a way that you can only choose one of them. You would need to, um, what do you call it? Give them the same name. Okay, so let's look at what I'm saying. Right, when we select this, you see it's gone. Assuming we change the and make this one gender one, right? Then they probably look different now, so I can select both. See, this is how know how a radio button is supposed to behave. They are supposed to have the same name. Okay, that way you'll be able to alternate between them and just choose one option alone. Okay, the next input type that we need to look at is the checkbox. Okay, checkbox. Okay, so again, let me copy this for radio button and paste here. Forgive me for copying and pasting, but I think at this point you've gotten most of the things I'm saying. So even if I copy and paste, but copy and pasting it's really not a good thing in programming because you might forget something which can become a bug. It can become a bug and destroy your program or crash your program along the way. So please, uh, copy and pasting programming is not encouraged. Excuse me. Alright, so here the type will be changed from radio to checkbox. Okay, we'll also change this to checkbox. Alright, so let's say we have Barcon, which is one of my favorites, and then Yam. Alright, and look at this, all of them have the same name. So let's see. Okay, I think I should bring a line break. Yes, line break so that checkboxes come below. Uh, okay, so with the checkboxes, you have the opportunity to choose more than one item. Okay, and I explained that in the first video when we were talking about forms. But because Bakun is different from Yam, and if you are choosing all of them, okay, you are not supposed to give all of them the same name. So this one can have uh, this one can have Bakun. Or what you can do is, if you want to give them the same name, then it should be an array. Okay, it should be an array. Now, all right, I will explain this when we get to beyond WASI. Okay, for now, just know how you can create these things. So let's say the name is actually food, not um, gender. Okay, so that is it for checkbox. What else is there? Okay, let's look at the um, last input types. Okay, so we talk about button. Uh, okay, so here we are going to talk about button. Okay, there are also input types. So we have input, and the type is so we have submit, which I explained earlier. Okay, so value could be maybe login. This is what will be displayed on the button. Okay, then we can have another one input. Okay, and let's say this is reset. So the value will be clear. Uh, let's preview this and see how they look like. So we have two buttons. We have clear, login, and clear. Okay, and as I explained before, submit is supposed to capture information and send it to the server for processing. Okay. um, Reset. Okay, reset is supposed to clear the form. All right, reset it back to default where it has no value. So again, we can enter some random stuff here. Okay, this is you can choose some date. All right, you can select some country. My favorite, Canada, where I want to go. All right. Then I am a male, of course. I like both Baku and Yam. Right. Something like this. If I click on clear, alright, this is a text that is displaying, but in the background, the type is actually reset. Okay, it is not clear but reset. Okay, so when I click on clear, see what happened. Everything is gone on the form. Okay, so that is what it does. Unfortunately, we won't get to see what login does because we are not submitting this data to any backend server for processing. So, but know that the moment you click on the login button, which is at the background called the submit, okay, this information will be sent to a server to process for you. Okay, so that's it with forms. Okay. Um, One thing that I want to mention is that you can actually arrange these forms in a table. Okay, you can use you can create two two columns per row. All right. So the first column will be for the label, the second column will be for the input field. All right. So they follow each other like that. All right. I will leave that to you as an assignment, and I think that's it. That's it. Yes. I would check again if there's something I should add. Otherwise, we'll leave it here for now. The next time that will come back will be as solving past WASI past questions. Okay. All right. I wish you all the best, and please make sure you join the classroom on Google Classroom. I email I email the links, the invitation to all of you. So make sure you join. There is an assignment waiting for you. The deadline is 8th April, which is coming Friday. After that, we will have other things based on. I will specify which video you should watch, and then which assignment you should do. So um, we would we will hear of each other again. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave comments so that I know whether I should change something or add more content. Okay, thank you.